Welcome back courtside on Buffalo Wild Wings Radio Row inside Moby Arena in Fort Collins. The Lobos fall 70-59 to Colorado State. It's time for our Delta Dental Coach's Comments, brought to you by Delta Dental of New Mexico. Let's bring in Lobo head men's basketball coach Craig Neal. Coach Neal, first off, your thoughts tonight, get down 16 and then fall behind by 23, but a great late run and showed some real fight there in the second half.
Well, I just think it was one of those games where it was a 12-round bout. In the first 8 rounds, they just knocked us all over the ring, and you can't do that against a veteran team like this, an experienced team. I thought they were really physical with us in the first half. I thought we combated it with not being physical back and reaching and fouling, and that's why they got on the line 31 times. But I thought the second half, with 14 minutes to go, I thought our guys showed a lot of heart, a lot of fight, and we found some guys that want to play and want to play the right way and do the right thing, and we got to continue to keep working. We cut it to 8, had a steal, could have got it to 6, but those guys, they kept battling. We just got to figure some things out, and I was really proud of the way Joe and X came to play today when they didn't play against Utah State. And the hardest thing is when you have 11 guys and only 2 of them have separated themselves, and Hugh Greenwood and Deshaun Delaney, and you got 9 other guys that you're trying to play, and nobody's really stepped forward to take the reins on those positions, and you're just trying to, every game it's a juggling act on who's going to come to play and who's not going to come to play. And as a coach, you can't just pinpoint one guy, because then it's not fair to those 9 guys, and it's got to be who's playing well, who's not playing well, who's doing what you're asking them to do. But if you look at the stat line, you can tell the guys that are doing a good job. And I told you, Robert, before in pregame, if you look at our last 4 minute of games where we've been in 4 possessions, where we've been late in the game, and you look at our percentages and what we've done in the last 4 minutes, it's not pretty. And that's from free throw shooting when nobody's guarding you, and that's with turnovers when you have 16 and only 12 assists in the last 4 minutes of games. It's not going to work that way. So I was very happy with the fight. I was very happy with what our guys did in the second half. But it's one of those things where you can't come in with a veteran group like they have, and they've got a really good team, and not expect to be physical and play and go right back at them early.
Well, they definitely let you guys back in. I mean,
right.
I was one of the things that I think CSU is notorious for. They'll take bad shots, and,
right.
and if you guys battle and you stick with it, they'll
right.
let you back in. It just wasn't enough time left on the clock, and then, of course, little things. Couldn't convert free throws, whether at the end or like you said, turnovers really, I think, is what dug you in the deep hole and couldn't climb out of it
right.
fast enough because you couldn't produce enough points.
Right, Hunter.
But
anytime you score 19 points in the first half,
exactly.
you're going to struggle, and I don't think it was. I didn't think that we weren't really shooting the ball. I think we figured out in the second half that you can't go into contact and try to move it around and contort your body without going through contact to draw the foul. And then if you do contort your body or try to double pump it and try to make a play and you don't get a foul, then that's a very low percentage shot. And I think in the second half, I thought Dede was outstanding, but I thought Dede was very, very tentative the first 8 minutes of the game, and then he scores 21-some points in the last 22 minutes. And we have to have him come out like he did in the second half at the start of the game. And, he's got to go through contact. He's got to look for his jumper. We got to get good shots. I thought Tim Jacobs did a good job running the team and pushing the pace. Against a team like that, you have to push the pace and try to get some transition baskets, and I thought he did a good job getting the ball up. But, our Achilles heel all year has been shooting the ball, and you can't go 4 for 16, and we got guys that still think they can shoot threes. And, it's one of those things where if you're not shooting a very good percentage, it might not change it, and if you're not going to get in the gym and work on it.
Coach, on the turnovers, do you think a lot of those turnovers were created by them trying to create the offense, forcing it inside to the bigs when it maybe wasn't there? Or?
Well, I just think we've been working on Hunter, and I think our biggest thing with our bigs is they never really get their butt on the defender. They use a lot of arms, a lot of trailing, and they don't really seal with their butt, and they got to do a better job with that, and that's something we're working on, but they got to take it from practice to the game. And then I think our guards got to do a bit better job of throwing it away from the defense, and you can't throw the ball 5-6 feet where you're leading them to those guys at 7 feet or 6'10" like JJ, and you got to throw that thing to their chest, and you got to get it in away from the defense. And we had guys that had as many turnovers as they played minutes, and you give guys chances, and then you just say you got to go in another direction. That's what happened tonight.
I wanted to go back to something you started with, Coach Neal. You said right at the outset how proud you were of the way that X and Joe both competed today after they didn't play in the last game. And if not for the first half that Xavier played, it could have been more than 16 at the break. He was terrific in the first half.
But the bench is a great equalizer. The bench tells you a lot of people who's going to buy into the team and who's not going to buy into the team. And that's what we're trying to figure out. And we had this same issue last year, even though we were competing for a championship and we went 15-3. But, my captains came to see me about the same time right before we went to Reno, and we had a nice little chat about who was buying in and who wasn't buying in. And the bench becomes an equalizer, and I got to give it to those guys. Those guys got caught out of the rotation against Utah State because they were freshmen, and they really haven't made great strides to play in front of anybody, even though it was pretty equal. So that was a coach's decision that I made. And then they came back, and instead of sulking and feeling sorry for themselves, they came back and worked harder. They got in the gym. X was in the gym after we got beat by Utah State for about an hour and a half shooting. And Joe works hard. He plays hard, but that's what I'm looking for. It's not always how you perform or what you do. It's how you do it in practice. If you're going to spend time, if you're a great teammate, if you're doing the little things. And there's a privilege to be a Lobo. It's not a right. And that's what some of our guys have got to figure out. And, if they don't, then we'll go in another direction. And I told the guys, I said, hey, I'm proud of you, the fight. I was embarrassed in the first half. I think you should feel embarrassed. But I know one thing. If it takes me, I got to find 5 guys that are going to do it, then I'll find 5. If I find 8, I'll find 8. If I find 11, then I find 11. But right now, I don't have 11.
Final question. 12 games through the Mountain West schedule.
Right.
There's 6 to go.
Right.
You're always competing for championships. You'd love to add rings. The Lobos have had a ton of them. Maybe not regular season this year, but certainly the tournament is there. How will you use the last 6 games here of the regular season? What do you want to see from the team?
I've been using it. I've been using the whole season. If you looked at our RPI and you looked at the things that happened to us early in November, it didn't matter what we really did in the Mountain West league play, our RPI probably wasn't going to be where it was to get us in. And all I've been trying to do is every day get up, appreciate my job, appreciate working with these kids. I love my team. I love my kids. I have no problems off the floor with them. I love what they do. I love going to work every day and working with them. I've just tried to make them better and better every day. Now, we've had some steps where we went backwards, and we've lost some games that we shouldn't have lost, and the last 4 minutes were, like I said earlier, we're 4 games we lost in the last possession, either tied up or down by possession. So, it's a learning process, and at the end of the day, my job is to make these guys as good as I can before the year's out. We had the same situation after Darrington went hardship. And we came back with DeReese, and we finished 8-8 in the league. And we had a heck of a team, and they played hard, and they gave it everything they got. And we made a run at people at the end, and that's all I can ask for these guys. But, I'm getting some valuable experience from a lot of young guys, and I'm getting a lot of heart from Hugh Greenwood. And he might not shoot it well all the time, but he gives you everything he got. And I thought Deshaun did too. And those seniors, I hope, can grab these guys. It's like a family. And Hunter knows this, and Robert, you know this. It's like a family. When brothers get out of line or something gets wrong with the family, then you got to get everybody in, and you got to get everybody aligned in the same thing. And we're family, and we got to get everybody on the same page and doing all the things right.
Well, we look forward to seeing you in Reno. I know it's another tough deal. We're traveling twice here with 1 day at home in between. But
we it's part of it. And I just told them, I said, guys, it doesn't get easier; it gets harder. And anything that you want to be great at, or anything you do in life, it's not easy. It's hard. It's hard work, and you got to put in the time, and you got to buy in. But for 14 minutes, we were really good. Just the first half, we didn't play very well, and that's not the way that we play.
All right. Safe travels back to Albuquerque.
Guys, I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Lobo head men's basketball coach Craig Neal, your Delta Dental coach's comments brought to you by Delta Dental of New Mexico. Almost